This Cancer Moonshot is one of the reasons why I ran for president.
U.S. President Joe Biden touted his initiative to create new life-saving cancer treatments on the 60th anniversary of former President John F. Kennedy's Moonshot speech that urged Americans to lead in the exploration of space.
On the 60th anniversary of his clarion call, we face another inflection point to end cancer as we know it.
Just as JFK did with his goal of beating Russia in the space race, Biden said his Cancer Moonshot will unite Americans with a common purpose.
Cancer does not discriminate red and blue. It doesn't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. Beating cancer is something we can do together.
Biden's aim is to cut the cancer death rate in half in the next 25 years. To that end, the president signed orders on Monday to push more government dollars to the U.S. biotechnology industry. Biomanufacturing has been used to generate cancer treatments, including those derived from plants or using re-engineered immune cells. The White House did not provide any specifics on how much money would be available, where it would come from, or how it would be allocated. Further details are expected at a White House summit on the topic Wednesday. Biden's son, Beau, died of brain cancer in 2015 at age 46, something the president has said helps inform his passion for the project.
Former President Donald Trump's attorneys on Monday said they opposed the Justice Department's request to continue looking into classified documents the FBI seized from Mar-a-Lago in August in an ongoing criminal investigation. In the court filing, Trump's lawyers asked U.S. District Judge Eileen Cannon, a Trump appointee in Florida, to require an independent arbiter called a special master to review all the documents recovered during the August search at Trump's estate in Palm Beach, including the roughly 100 files with classification markings, some labeled as top secret. Cannon has faced criticism as she temporarily barred prosecutors from examining the seized records as they probe whether Trump took government property from the White House illegally or stored the materials at Mar-a-Lago improperly. The arbiter will weed out any privileged documents that should be shielded. The Justice Department nominated 2 candidates to be the arbiter. Trump objected to both. Meanwhile, prosecutors have vowed to appeal Cannon's decision to a higher court if they're kept from accessing the records. Also in the filing, Trump's lawyers disputed the Justice Department's claim that the 100 records in question are in fact classified, and they said a president generally has broad powers to declassified records. However, they stopped short of suggesting that Trump had declassified those documents, a claim Trump has made on social media, but not in any court filings.
Wall Street giant Goldman Sachs is gearing up to cut jobs, possibly hundreds of them, according to a source familiar with the plans. The staff reductions, which sources say may begin as early as next week, come as Goldman reinstates an annual performance review for employees, a process it had suspended for the past 2 years because of the health crisis. The company typically trims about 1% to 5% of its staff each year, and the 2022 cuts will likely be in the lower end of that range, the source told Reuters. Goldman's headcount swelled to 47,000 at the end of June, up 15% from a year earlier. A 1% cut to staffing would imply a reduction of about 500 bankers. The New York Times earlier reported on the upcoming layoffs, citing 2 people familiar with the plans. Goldman Sachs declined to comment. In July, the investment bank had warned it might slow hiring and cut expenses as the economic outlook worsens. JP Chase, Wells Fargo, and Citigroup have all cut mortgage bankers in recent months as the industry downsizes after having expanded to handle a surge in demand.
Pakistanis sheltering at this relief camp after historic flooding say there's little relief to be found at night. There are too many mosquitoes and only a few nets in sight. Electricity is also in short supply. In the hardest-hit Sindh province, Zulfikar Silanji described it in apocalyptic terms.
We spend each night with great difficulty. Every night is like a doomsday for us. The mosquitoes are biting, and then children cannot sleep due to them. The children are falling sick due to the mosquito bites, and the hospitals here are not able to treat every disease from mosquito bites.
Floods from record monsoon rains and glacial melt in the mountainous north have affected 33 million people and killed almost 1,400. Water submerged nearly a third of the country, with Sindh receiving 466% more rain than average. Both the government and the UN Secretary General have pointed the finger at climate change. Last week, Antonio Guterres said he had never seen climate carnage on this scale. Those staying in the camp say children are struggling to cope.
There is no drinking water here, and we are drinking the flood water. The children are falling sick. There are lots of mosquitoes here, and the children cry the whole night. We continue to fan the children the whole night, but yet it is difficult for them to sleep. In the day we are under the hot sun, there is no proper shade, neither any arrangement of food nor water here. This is what we are facing.
UN agencies have begun work to assess the country's reconstruction needs, with Guterres calling for global financial help. So far, the damage is estimated to be in the tens of billions.
U.S. stocks rallied on Monday, notching their fourth straight session of gains, with all three major indexes hitting two-week highs as investors awaited crucial inflation data due out Tuesday. The Dow rose 0.7%, the S&P 500 gained a full percent, while the Nasdaq ended more than 1.25% higher. The Labor Department's Consumer Price Index, expected before Tuesday's opening bell, is this week's main event, and Jay Hatfield, Chief Investment Officer for the ICAP ETF, said the CPI report will be heavily scrutinized for any signs for future interest rate hikes from the Federal Reserve.
Right now, consensus for CPI is negative 0.1. We're forecasting a number a little bit lower than that at negative 0.2. The chances of there being a disappointment are rising because we've had a pretty dramatic rally, as we were discussing, into this print. So I think people are really expecting it to be that number, consensus or better. So if we print higher, that could be bad for the market.
Market-leading mega caps, including Tesla and Amazon, provided a lift to the S&P 500, while shares of Apple jumped nearly 4%, days after unveiling updates to its iPhone and Apple Watch. Drug maker Bristol-Myers Squibb rose 3% following the FDA's approval of its psoriasis drug late on Friday. Shares of rival Amgen, maker of the psoriasis drug Otezla, dropped 4%. And shares of Twitter slipped amid its legal wrangling with Elon Musk, who said in his latest attempt to scrap his deal to buy the company that Twitter's failure to seek his consent before paying millions of dollars to a former security chief turned whistleblower violated the merger agreement. Twitter called his latest reasoning to back out of the deal, quote, invalid and wrongful.